Hey everyone, welcome to another unboxing video over here. I do have another Surface Laptop 4, and I know you might be thinking, well, you already reviewed this one not too long ago. Well, guess what? I actually got my hands. I may or may not mention it in that particular video that I was going to try to get my hands on the Ryzen version, the Surface Ryzen version of this particular laptop here, the Laptop 4. And I did go ahead and get my hands on a different color here. This is a kind of pink looking sandstone color, which is really nice. I do have this intended for a family member, and she's going to be really happy to get her hands on this. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be expecting a laptop of this cute little color here. So let's go ahead, and I did go ahead and do the little unboxing here, but don't fret. I'm going to show you all the stuff regarding the unboxing here for a moment. And you can actually see a good symbol on the top. On the side over here, once I zoom in and focus a little bit, you can see a USB-A port and USB-C style port over here, a little headphone jack. So really curious that these particular devices have a headphone jack. So I'm not sure if the Laptop 5, Surface Laptop 5 actually has one, but other laptops such as the Laptop Go 2 and other tablets still actually have that. On this side, we actually just have the proprietary Microsoft Surface connection over here, which can also be, this is actually the charger here, but they do also have the connection here for docks and other devices like that as well too. So that's actually compatible as well. I don't mind this connection, just be really wary of anything that could possibly be attracted to it because it's a little bit magnetized. And you can start seeing paper clips and other little small things getting in there, and that can be a little annoying when it actually happens. I have seen even little motherboard screws get attached there at some point. So go ahead and open it up. You might have noticed that as soon as I opened this thing up during the little short unboxing, basically the laptop actually just turned on. So that's pretty much a normal thing, but it won't be doing that every single time you actually open up the laptop screen. Some people may actually like that option. Maybe it is an option if you jump into the BIOS and take a look. I personally, dealing with some Lenovo laptops in the workplace and whatnot, kind of drives me nuts when laptops do that, but it is what it is. You can always just turn it right back off. But here we are, wonderful looking device here. So let's go ahead and power it up. I did go ahead and go through the entire Windows 11 setup and update, basically ran all the updates available. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I did go ahead and get my hands on the refurbished version of this particular model here. I wasn't able to find this particular color with the Ryzen CPU available brand new off Microsoft's website. So it is what it is. But as I mentioned in another video, the refurbished item is pretty much very on par with a brand new one. I'm not even sure. Basically, maybe it was just a device they just replaced a couple of parts. Could have been a return. Maybe originally had a defect on it. It has been fixed up. Pretty much looks brand new. No scratches or blemishes or anything anywhere. Has a nice brand new scent as well too. And a brand new 65-watt charger right over here. So that's that right there. And here we probably just have a little bit of documentation and whatnot for Surface Laptop 4 and all the regulatory information back here. This looks like just a fat little card. So let's go ahead and leave that there. Give you a nice, somewhat good close-up of the keyboard here. Kind of match up the sandstone color. Looks like the keys are just a little bit of a darker color. Almost looks brown. Kind of reminds me of like the Zune color, Microsoft Zune from many, many years ago, right over here. So it's a good way to distinguish between the aluminum and the keys itself, but still has that same theme there. So it's not like it's going to be like gray keys with sandstone looking color that just look a little off or odd, or other colors, white or black on here as well too. And your power button is right up here. Alright, I did go ahead and install all the Windows 11 updates available at this time. There were a couple of firmware updates as well too that Microsoft does push out for their Surface devices. So let me go ahead and just bring up Task Manager because I did want to go ahead and show you something. I have already previously opened this up, but I just wanted to demonstrate here that the CPU here is absolutely different. You can immediately see AMD Ryzen 5, the Microsoft Surface Edition. Something else immediately you'll probably notice if you actually saw the previous video here, I'll definitely put a link below in the description and also in the bubble on top, so go ahead and click on that if you like. The Intel variant of this particular laptop, 16 gigabytes, and basically the Core i5 equivalent here of the AMD Ryzen, that actually had 4 cores, total of 8 threads. You immediately can see here this actually has 6 cores a total of 12 threads on this particular CPU here. So is it going to actually give you better performance? I guess we'll actually see. Reading some reviews and basically some other little reviews regarding this particular model laptop, I have actually heard that the battery life is probably just a bit better considering the CPU is a newer generation and whatnot. You can definitely look up the specs of the CPU and put a little side by side with the Intel variant and see a couple of advantages that the AMD Ryzen CPU actually has. And this actually also applies to desktop CPUs on this particular time period when this laptop was released. Basically the Ryzen CPUs and the Intel equivalent CPUs and whatnot. So let's go ahead and take a look at what little test we can do this on. But I definitely want to actually point that one thing out. So basically the first thing I noticed on this particular laptop, and one big reason why I got my hands on it. Well, I'm not too particularly fond of Windows 11. There are a couple of little things that they have done over the last year and a half or so. One little thing, obviously, I'm so happy they put the Task Manager button over here. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have sent that feedback and they realized, well, why not just put it right there, just basically appeal to everybody. And I'm pretty sure their own staff has probably noticed here as well too. Widgets seem to have making a little bit of a return here, which is pretty nice. Previously, on Windows 10 machines that I use myself and even at work, you would have to hit start to actually have a little bit of stuff pinned to the start menu. And one of the things I always like to put there is the weather and possibly the calendar as well too, along with some other little items there. But you can't see the weather here now as well too. The only unfortunate thing is once I click on it, I see all this stuff here that, well, I'm just not really interested, but I'm pretty sure there's the option to actually go ahead and remove it. So that's pretty nice, and I'm pretty sure the only thing that now remained is just the weather in this case. So something to go ahead and play with. I guess they're really kicking into some features here and there and whatnot. Before I continue too far here, I did actually want to demonstrate as well too that the keyboard does have backlit as well too. You can actually see that there. I'll probably go ahead and shut the lights off here just to demonstrate that a little better. But I did also want to do a little typing test here. Just obviously when it comes to keyboards, everyone always loves to hear those. So here we go. So I want to go ahead and just jump in and play the same little video I played in the previous review of the Surface Laptop 4, the Intel variant. Now I got the AMD over here. And let's go ahead and play this video. Pretty familiar video here I filmed in Poland in Europe earlier this year. And just go ahead and play it in 1080. Let's go ahead and full screen it as well too. I honestly have to be honest with the touchscreens on laptops, something I never thought I would really like until I actually got my hands on the Surface Pro 7 and began to really enjoy the advantages of actually having it. So here we are, running flawlessly as expected on 1080p. So let's go ahead and bump it up a little bit. This video goes up to 4K, so I'm going to bump it up to 1440 and we'll see how that looks. The resolution of this laptop is absolutely amazing, and had a little hiccup there for just a moment. Seems like it stopped, but just something to bear in mind here. The resolution of this laptop is absolutely amazing, and you can really see how sharp and detailed it is when viewing videos just like this, and hopefully without any lag or any little bumps in the road here. There potentially could be, maybe I'm incorrect about the Ryzen 5 CPU variant being a little stronger, though more energy efficient from what many people say. I'm going to leave the video playing at 1440, and then we'll jump to the next resolution and take a look. I completely missed the Hard Rock Cafe over there. Alright, let's see how this fares on 4K now. I do notice it does hiccup when jumping between one resolution and another, so let's just see what happens. I might have to pause the video for just a moment just so it catches up. Otherwise this silliness starts to happen. Let me just pause for a minute, and there we go.
Well, it looks like it's running pretty flawlessly, not a single hiccup this time around. I was actually worried a moment ago when I jumped to 1440. There was a little bit of a stop or a lag there for a moment. It could just be because I was just bouncing between one resolution of the video, one quality to another. And jumping between this one, it looks like everything's working a-okay so far. I'll let it run for a couple more seconds. And let's see. Still running
Absolutely flawlessly, so looks really good so far. I did also want to let you know that right now the laptop is plugged in and charging, just in case anyone was wondering about that. Furthermore, if anyone was curious how it runs with on battery, well, I just unplugged it. No charger there. Still running at the same resolution as earlier, 4K.
Still running flawlessly, even though I opened up Word and Excel, opened up another Edge tab over here, and it looks like it hasn't really
Skipped a beat whatsoever. Since I was opening up some programs over here, I'm going to go ahead and just open up a couple more. Let's see what other apps are on this thing. Right over here, open up Photos, open up the Microsoft Store. And by the way, I didn't actually put a product key on the Office installation over here just because it's only for demonstration purposes, so there's really no reason to just put a whole CD key and go through the entire installation process just for that. So it looks like I was actually just trying to open random apps over here, and it actually looks like it's downloading the Instagram app and also the Facebook Messenger app as well too, so I'll just leave that open coming up. What on earth is ChipChamp? A video editor. Okay, so the mystery solved. Mystery solved finally. And here's the Surface app that basically just tells you everything you need to know and little configurations for your Surface device over here. Still running very flawlessly. I don't have the video playing right now, but why don't we go ahead and just open it up once more. By the way, if anyone's wondering why I have ad block installed, well, I think it's just really cheesy to have my own ad of my own video play on my own playback, so that's why I'm basically just putting it there. And by the way, I'm pretty sure it's still at the 4K resolution, so yep, looks like we are doing really well. Alright, so I'm sure everyone's wondering as well too, the reboot and power up times on this thing. So let's go ahead and do a full reboot. Then upon rebooting, I'm going to do a full shutdown and startup right over here. I did go ahead and shut down all the apps I had previously opened. So let's go ahead and take a look here, do a full reboot. Sorry for the little buzzing sound you actually can hear just nearby. My heater actually just automatically turned on. That seems like it's fizzling down now. Great, we are back online. I would say it's about like 30 seconds or just a little under. Let's do a full shutdown this time and power up using the power button here as well too. Just because the screen goes dark doesn't necessarily mean the device is fully shut down. It's actually just saying all that, saving all that information to memory. And sometimes I just literally, since there's no little power button that stays on like a desktop computer, just kind of have to look at the hum of the screen to see if it's fully off. Looks like it actually is already for some time. Let's hit that power button over here, and there we go. What's your experience with boot times on Windows 11 devices and compared to Windows 10? Let me know in the comments, since I really have not used Windows 11 too much lately. And we can see here that basically took about 15 seconds or less to boot up from scratch here. My actual Surface Pro 7 Plus, which is an iQore 7 model, that definitely does have faster boot times. Mind you, that's an iQore 7 compared to the equivalent of an iQore 5, and basically very similar boot times on the Core i5 Intel variant of the Laptop 4 here. Alright, just going ahead and do a little testing on the selfie camera on the laptop here, the Surface Laptop 4. I'm actually not, I'm looking at the window, not really the camera, so hopefully my eyes are now focused correctly. I'm not using any other software other than just the default camera software that comes with Windows 10. And seems like it's working pretty well, no issues here. I do know there's a little bit of like a stereo microphone feature on this laptop has, which I might find pretty appealing. So if you're going to be doing Teams calls, Zoom calls, other conference little things out there, Skype, BlueJeans, who knows what else there is out there, Google Meet, I could go on forever, then this is basically what you'll actually be seeing and hearing. I'm sure there's some little features here to make stuff appear on people's face and whatnot, or even enhance the audio a little bit. But this is actually using the default app in Windows 10. So while there are a couple more tests I can possibly do here, such as disk benchmarking and opening up some apps, I'm going to go ahead and toss Windows 10 on this as a little curveball, and we'll run some more tests on it. So let's go ahead and do it. Pretty simple instruction here in case anyone's wondering how you go ahead and boot up from, in this case, a USB thumb drive that I've plugged in with Windows 10. You can go ahead and just have your finger ready on the volume down button right over here. This actually applies to the tablets as well too. You can just keep that pressed as you power the device on. Still keep that button pressed and you'll see it's actually not booting up. And if you look at your thumb drive, if it does have like a little indication light that's being red, I can see mine that looks like a little flashing blue one, and it is actually booting up. So once you actually see the little twirl thing underneath the Surface Windows logo there, you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and let go. Obviously much different than the Windows 11 one we've seen during boot up time. And it looks like we have booted up from our thumb drive. Now, a very similar disadvantage that I actually had on the other Laptop 4 and I'm having here is the touchscreen does not work Now there's the touchpad or the keyboard. It just does not get recognized by this, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and plug an external mouse here and get this going. The whole installation process didn't really take too long. The only little drawback, if you actually see my original review of the Surface Laptop 4, getting Windows 10 on this is just a little challenging because the touchscreen, keyboard, and touchpad do not work. So I had to actually connect a external keyboard and mouse, in this case my little wireless keyboard and mouse, or even a wired keyboard and mouse. You can even just use the regular mouse and then use the on-screen touch keyboard to just go ahead and navigate around, but that wouldn't work because the touchscreen does not work. So little by little, I was able to get Windows 10 installed. So once the actual installation began, pretty easy peasy for the most part. Only took a few moments. Got Windows, all the Windows updates installed here. Installed some applications, as you can actually see. A bunch of stuff here so far. Got all the apps, the Microsoft Store update and everything. And let's just open up Task Manager right over here. You can see all the cores right there. And obviously this is the same, the Surface Edition CPU. It has not changed whatsoever. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of things here. One thing I didn't do in Windows 11 is run a disk benchmark. So why not just go ahead and do that now? As I said in other videos, the only reason I actually installed Windows 10 on this is just for preference. I know the person who's going to want to use this would prefer to use something that's familiar, in this case Windows 10. And but even if it was actually going to be for myself, I probably just personally prefer Windows 10 for at least another couple of years until Windows 11 is imposed supposedly on all of us. As I mentioned in other videos, this is actually an enterprise version of Windows 10 that I was able to get my hands on thanks to my workplace. And this particular version does have support for a couple more years. And unlike regular Windows 10 Pro and Home, you're not actually pushed to immediately start downloading stuff because support for that particular version will go out within like 6 months or a year, stuff like that. So that's something I don't really have to worry about for at least another 4 to 5 years if I remember correctly. So I'm really hoping that some little features that Windows 11 actually comes built in, you do have the option to actually drop them, but there is going to be a Windows 11 version Enterprise or LTSC. Some people in the Enterprise supporting Windows 10 Workplace and whatnot probably know what that is. I'll probably go into that in another video since I've actually been using that for some years now and very, very impressed with how it works. So when the Windows 11 version of that comes out, I believe next year, if I'm not correct, someone definitely leave a comment if they know a little bit about Windows 11 long-term service channel release. I'll definitely go ahead and jump in again. Jumping back to the original subject here, you can immediately see our benchmark is done and see our read speeds at 2 gigabytes a second, 2000 meg a second. And our write speed just a little under 1 gigabyte, about 960 megabytes a second. So pretty decent speed here. Now the good news is, as I mentioned, the Surface Laptop 4 does have an option to upgrade the SSD. It does actually involve you basically taking the screws from underneath, these little tabs here that are not so hard to remove, which allow you access to remove the keyboard. And I believe during the introduction of the Surface Laptop 3 or 4, the gentleman during the Surface event actually demonstrated how a keyboard just literally just lifts up. And you have access to a couple of things there, the battery, the SSD, and other little features there as well too. Obviously one thing you really cannot upgrade, which is a bummer on this laptop or these laptops, are the memory. One thing I immediately noticed about the Surface Laptop 4, the Ryzen edition here, while even doing the installation of Windows 10 and also doing updates, which I know can be a little intensive when it comes to just basically CPU power and hard disk power and all that stuff, the laptop is actually quite cool. I did actually have my hand underneath and it was a little warm, but I did notice the Intel variant was definitely a little bit warmer. And actually it did remind me a little bit of the Surface Laptop Go 2 that I reviewed some months back. And one big drawback that I kind of noted in the video, or I'm definitely going to mention it now, is that laptop gets freaking toasty, even though the CPU is not the most powerful, even though it's, even running that battery mode, saver mode and whatnot. That laptop got really toasty during the process of installing Windows or updates or just anything intensive like that. But this laptop, during the entire process of installing Windows 10, installing all these applications, Office, antivirus software, new browsers and whatnot, I immediately noticed that the laptop stayed fairly cool. And so far the battery life is actually running pretty well. So right now I'm actually charging it up. I would say as soon as I plugged it in, just before I start recording this little section here, it was around maybe about 52 to 55%. So not so bad for actually doing everything on its own, off battery power, and not even being fully charged. So I'll definitely do a follow-up and see how this device actually really runs compared to the Intel variant. Let's go ahead and open up some applications here. I got so used to touching the screen. Let me just go ahead and use the touchpad here. Go ahead and open up Edge, Chrome, whoops, looks like I just moved the icons over. Firefox, gonna go ahead and open up Word as well too. Maybe Acrobat right over here. I do have a Pro version installed. Slightly older version, but still works just as well. And Chrome's jumping at me, telling me something about privacy, etc., etc. So go ahead and open up a Word document. Over here, get an Excel document. Over here, one of my favorite programs in the whole world in the workplace when there's a gazillion plugins installed, and this software takes a good 2 minutes actually even just to load up. And we'll just jump into performance and we'll see that it's still at 32%, having everything open here. And actually you can immediately have noticed that all the applications open up really, really quickly. Thanks to the 2 GB speed SSD. You might be able to actually harness faster load reading and write speeds if you actually go ahead and update this SSD to something for larger capacity, 512, 1 terabyte even. I know there's even 2 terabytes available for the 2230 form factor NVMe. That's actually installed on this. And also the other line of Surface Pro laptops as well too, anything above the 7 Plus and above, so to speak. So we can actually see here the applications actually load up really well. Why don't we go ahead and do a little video test here as well too, and just go ahead and open up that video.
Alright, so choosing a different video this time. This is actually a little walk video I filmed in the capital of Poland in Warsaw early this year in February 2023. And just have it running right now at 1080p. One little note about YouTube. I do know they actually do have that ambient mode on when you use basically the dark mode in YouTube. I'm not really sure why they introduced that. I guess it's just a matter of preference. I personally do not like using it, but the other little detail here many people may not know, it actually uses a little bit more power, especially a little bit of GPU power, CPU power when available, just for playback. So just something I wanted to let you know. I turned it off because it could actually affect performance in playback, potentially, right over here. So right over here, just doing a little bit of 1080. I'm going to pump it up here to 1440. It's probably going to be a little hiccup at some point, so I'm just going to pause it for a moment. Right over here, give it a moment to catch up, and here we go.
still running really well. All right, for the ultimate jump, 4K. Again, I'm just going to pause it for a moment just for the data to catch up. Sometimes it hiccups in the start. Let it buffer a little bit. Not that I have slow internet or anything, but just the start is always a hiccup, so here we go. As you can see. Little funny personal note, I can't tell you how many Costa coffees I've actually run into or walked by all over Europe. In February I actually did visit multiple countries, I would say about 5, including Poland and the UK. And in every country I've seen on the way back from Poland all the way back to the west, how many Costa coffees I've run into. So if you've been to Europe, let me know how many of you run into. I'm really curious to hear. But jumping back into the review, you can immediately see everything running very smoothly. I'm actually curious, so I just put my hand underneath the laptop here. Definitely a little warmer than before. I will definitely immediately note that. But not going to burn your hand just touching it or having it on your lap. Really amazed to see it's still running smoothly and not one hiccup. Hey there, I just want to say thanks again for watching the review, unboxing review of the Surface Laptop 4 in sandstone color right over here. And go ahead and shoot any comments or questions you might like. Hopefully I'll probably be doing a little follow-up video. As I mentioned in the video as well too, I'll probably be doing a little comparison between the Intel variant of the Surface Laptop 4 and the AMD Ryzen as well too. It's a shame that unfortunately Microsoft decided not to continue this particular trend with the release of the Laptop 5. As a matter of fact, when I saw the Microsoft presentation, the Surface presentation last year, I remember how disappointed I was to actually see that. I thought maybe they would just keep the trend going for at least another generation or two. Who knows, maybe it was kind of a little preference thing that are going on, or maybe one company decided to knock out the other one. This is kind of reminds me of those anti-competitive stuff from like 20 years ago, but who knows what the real reason is. And I'm really glad to be able to get my hands on the Ryzen variant of this wonderful product here. Go ahead and shoot a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Again, any questions or comments, just let me know and be more than happy to assist. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and as always, stay safe.